still extend. For it all comes back to love in the end.
There is a knife called judgment that cuts the ties that bind, and an illness known as prejudice that poisons both our minds. But the seeds of love are planted, if we can let them be. We'll share the fruits of loveliness that grow upon a tree. Like a vine, it will cover any wall that we can raise. Like the redwoods, it will tower higher than the fear we praise. Choking out the weeds of hate, its roots will still extend. For it all comes back to love in the end.
But they must be tended.
Seeds of love,
If we want them to grow, they must be tended. Oh, seeds of love, like a vine,
Seeds
it
of
will
love.
cover any wall that we can
seeds of
raise.
love,
Like the redwoods, it
Seeds
will
of love.
tower higher than the fear
seeds
we
of
praise.
love,
Choking out the weeds of hate, its roots will still extend. For it all comes back to love in the end. And like a vine, it will cover any wall that we can raise. Like the redwoods, it will tower higher than the fear we praise. Choking out the weeds of hate, its roots will still extend. For it all comes back to love in the end. Ooh, it all comes back to love in the end. They must be tended.
seeds of love,
If we want them to grow. It all comes back to love. It all comes back to love. It all comes back to love in the end. Thank you. We come together. We come together.
we come together in the name of love. We come together,
Come together.
we come together, we come together in the name of
One
love.
more
We
time.
come together,
Yes, we do.
we come together,
Here we are.
we come together in the name of love.
Thank you, Bettman and Halpin. In the house, it's sort of weird that you do all that singing before we announce you, so welcome and thank you for being here. I won't forget this week, I am Trish Morris, the associate minister here. Is that a Kami? No, it's not, sorry. Okay, this is why sometimes you don't want to say what you're thinking. So I remind you that Reverend David Howard is on sabbatical, and I'm with you this week and next, and then he will be back the following Sunday. So thank you for joining us in person here. Thank you for joining us online, for those of you who are doing that. And I hope that you have all found a way to stay connected with us, mostly via our website. Has everything you need to know on it. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can learn about how to download the app. You can find us on Facebook. Please do that. I know some of you may find us, but follow us and like us. That helps us get seen by more people. I do have a couple of quick announcements for you, of things that are coming up not next week, the following week, the 24th through the 26th. Mark Ehrlichs will be here. He's been here before. Mark is an internationally known priest, healer, and intuitive. And so he offers a healing circle on Friday night at 7 p.m. You can sign up for that. Please sign up ahead. And then for those of you who feel inspired to learn or sort of hone some of that inner knowing toward healing, he does a whole day workshop the following day to teach some of those methods. And then he also offers independent healing sessions that you can sign up for. All of that is on our website, as well as how to sign up for those. I told you last week that on October 3rd, that will be David Howard's first Sunday back. We're hoping that the weather, I'm sure it will hold out and be not too hot and not too cold. We're going to have a community gathering in the backyard next door with a meal. And that will celebrate, welcome him home. And that's also the day we'll announce our newest members to the community. So that will be a welcome home celebration for them. So we'd like you to come because we are offering food. We'd love for you to let us know you're coming and if you don't like certain things and all of that. So you can RSVP on the website and let us know your preferences and let us know how many people will be joining you. We hope that you can make it. And if you can help us, there's an opportunity for you to sign up for setting up and taking down too. We'd appreciate that. Also, October 9th, then the following Saturday, Angie Catt is leading a red tent event, a retreat to reclaim and experience our sacred sisterhood. So the women's team that put together the Feminine Identity Retreat is wanting to do quarterly events to keep women connected. Now, men can do it too. You just have to take the initiative, men's group. But we'll help you, and maybe that's not something you want to do. But we want to make sure that you're aware of that. Angie Catt is a wonderful facilitator and singer, so she'll be facilitating that on October 9th. Again, you can sign up for that on the website. And, I wish we had the drum roll. Next slide, get ready. This is the best one. Oh, it's a boy. Can you see it? Can you darken the lights? So edible. Natalie had her baby boy, a healthy 9 pound, 9 ounces, on September 10th, and his name is Riley George Simons, and I just want to eat his face off. So I can't see him just yet. It doesn't feel safe, I understand. So we are blessing them. They're doing great. Mom and baby are adjusting very well. He's very chill, so we wanted to share that with you. So welcome to him into our community. Thank you for dimming the lights. I feel like, can we name the elephant in the room here? I Dream of Jeannie Pants. It's a little bit out of my zone, but I really like him, and I loved I Dream of Jeannie. In fact, I got in trouble for messing with the antique. Anytime I would my grandma Wanda collected antiques. And so sometimes she had these really cool shaped vessels, and I would grab them and sort of rub on them. Just put that down, and I was just sure that maybe, as a kid, maybe I'd get sucked into the bottle. Anyway, that has nothing to do with why we're here today. Thank you for playing along with me. I will skip to our reading today, which again is from the book Broken Open, How Difficult Times Can Help Us Grow by Elizabeth Lesser. And it is really the inspiration for our time together today. The transformational journey is a voyage with 100 different names. The Odyssey, the Grail Quest, the Great Initiation, the Death and Rebirth Process, the Supreme Battle, the Dark Night of the Soul, and the Hero's Journey. All of these names describe the process of surrendering to a time of great difficulty, allowing the pain to break us open, and then being reborn, stronger, wiser, and kinder. Every religion includes in its texts stories of descent and rebirth, from Jonah the whale to Jesus on the cross, and from the Hindu hero Arjuna, on the battlefield, to the Prince Siddhartha losing everything to become the Buddha. The great ones have gone before us on this journey. I have my own name for this quest. I call it the Phoenix process, in honor of the mythical bird with golden plumage, whose story has been told throughout the ages. The Egyptians called the bird the Phoenix and believed that every 500 years he renewed his quest for his true self, knowing that a new way could only be found with the death of his worn-out habits, defenses, and beliefs. The phoenix built a pyre of cinnamon and myrrh, sat in the flames, and burned to death. Then he rose from the ashes, a new being, a fusion of who he had been before and who he had become. A new bird, yet more himself, and yet at the same time the eternal phoenix. Of the phoenix bird, Roman poet Ovid said, "Most beings spring from other individuals, but there is a certain kind that reproduces itself. You and I are the phoenix. We can reproduce ourselves from the shattered pieces of a difficult time. Our lives ask us to die and to be reborn every time we confront change within ourselves and change within our world." So we'll be talking more about that today. Are you going to keep it dark? It feels weird. Thank you. So now together I will invite you to state our creed. We do this every Sunday just as we begin to sort of settle into the truth that we know, the truth that we teach here. And so I invite you to affirm this with me. Our God is love. Our race is human. Our faith is oneness. We'll just continue into this settling in, this opening up, listening to and feeling the sound, the vibration of this singing bowl that is tuned to our heart chakra. Just letting that sound open you up and settle you in.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So we settle into the love that is in this place because we are in this place. So we settle our minds and our bodies into this moment, inviting yourself to just catch up to this time and space. As much as possible, releasing any thoughts of anything else you might need to do, any concerns, just releasing into this safe space. And deepening your breath extends that invitation to your body and your mind to relax and to receive. And as we create that opening, we consciously focus on the truth of our being. This truth that we are divine life expressing right now. And so no matter what may be going on in our life that may not feel divine, we can know that that is the truth of our being, our eternal being, that is an expression of divine love. And so we take time and we make room to know that and to let that knowing have its way with us. To let that knowing heal us, restore us, and renew us. And as we do that for ourselves, we do that for each other, and we do that for our world. And so we bring to mind anyone on our hearts and minds into this space, into this energy of divine life and divine love, which in truth is always with and around them. But we hold them consciously in this space, that they feel that connection, that they too are healed and renewed. And we hold that for our world, for all that is happening in our world, that there is a release happening, and that it is in the evolution of the continued expression of our highest good that is working in and through our lives and in and through humanity. So we trust that, we let that be, and so it is. Amen.
She said, Grandpa, how'd you get this far? Life's been so hard, I got so many scars. He said, simple, someday you'll see. It's not what you have, it's what you no longer need. The letting go, that's the key. The letting go will set you free. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the easier it flows. She said, Mama, he's leaving me. How will I live? How will I breathe? Mama said, simple, someday you'll see. It's not who you love, it's who you choose to be. The letting go, that's the key. The letting go will set you free. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the easier it flows. Their baby was born only 7 years ago. But he left this earth and why nobody knows. The doctor said nothing. His mama kept crying. His daddy laid down and just wished he were dying. But in the quiet of their hearts, a little voice sighed. It's not how long you stay, it's how much love you leave behind. The letting go, that's the key. The letting go will set you free. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go,
Bettman and Halpin. I wish the letting go is as sweet as it sounds when you sing it. I tend to, hold on. Okay, it's these pants. They're making me crazy. That was beautiful, thank you. I'm sure many of you have heard that story of the phoenix, right? The mythical story of the phoenix. And, you know, I just have such a literal, logical mind that I immediately think, well, that didn't happen. Well, it doesn't matter if it happened. It's the depth of the story. And for the first time, I heard that line that the purpose of his whole existence was to find his true self. And to do that, he had to let go of worn out beliefs and patterns. And then, though it would seem he would, combust, what was left was the purest sense of him to continue on in the next evolution of his experience. So that comes back to the idea that we are called to do that. And for whatever reason, our human nature is really one that really likes to just get it situated, lock it in. All right, this is how it is. This is how I am. This is how you do it. And then if all we play nice, then nothing needs to change. But we miss an opportunity in recognizing the ways that some things do need to change, some things we do need to let go of in order to move forward in our fullest expression. I do want to say very clearly that I am in no way insinuating or suggesting that anybody set themselves on fire. So I want to make that very clear. But I heard that story in a different way this time, and I'll share that with you. And we'll get back to that. I did want to clarify a few things from last week. This is the fun of doing it several weeks in a row. I can pick up where I messed up. I didn't really mess up, but we ran out of time, and I wanted to make this point very clear. We talked last week, and if you weren't here, it's okay. You'll catch on to what we're talking about. We talked about what the author shares as the call of the soul, which is the call of our highest self, our true nature, the divine self, often called the Christ within in unity. And that particularly in times of difficulty, that part of us is calling us into the difficulty, not to avoid it or numb out or get distracted or blame others, but actually go into it and learn something about ourselves there. And so I defined what the author said was the soul is the wise, whole, and eternal brave part of us, the ageless longing for truth, and encouraging us to follow that, to hone our hearing for that, and to follow that. And what I wanted to clarify was that I also went into sort of calling us out in New Thought, particularly the practice of spiritual bypassing, because I feel like it does happen, and it's a misuse and a misunderstanding of our teaching, which is that not only do we not need to go into those dark places or those confused places, but we can actually just deny that they even exist, because we are, after all, divine in nature. And so we go right over what the juicy part is there that's calling to us to, again, all for our good. And I should say that what's in the darkness within us is not innately dark. It's only dark because we've left it, we've shunned it from the light. We've separated ourselves from it in some way. So I was warning against spiritual bypassing. And the reason that I wanted to do that was that I've seen it. I know that it's done it for me. It causes more harm than good when we deflect from what's actually happening in our experience. And it robs us of that deeper opportunity for growth and reflection that really only the light of truth can offer, which is when we follow that calling of our soul that is always leading us to know it more. And also, for some of us, myself included, it can leave you feeling like there's something wrong with you for having difficulties. If you were just more spiritual, if you just got it, if you just keep thinking all is well, you'd get it. So then you kind of just leave it. Like, well, I can't do it, obviously. It's not working. And instead, I suggested that we take the teaching we are learning and apply them directly to those places that are the most difficult. Don't hold them separate. Know that light within you, that truth within you, that wisdom within you will guide you, will support you, and will show you what there is to learn there. Because it is solid. It is an expression of the divine, of that divine intelligence, that divine life, that divine love. And so in a very real way, all is always well in that part of us. But it's when we just sort of claim that and not deal with the muck and the mire that's happening in the meantime. Does that make sense? So I felt like I left our soul kind of hanging out there, like, maybe it's well. No, I was just trying to make the point that we really should be taking that knowledge, that wisdom, that learning, that light into the places within our life, and certainly then into the world that need that healing, that need that illumination and wisdom. So, I think I made that point clear. I also wanted to clarify, I know that we have a lot of people that are somewhat new to unity, and you've probably heard us talk about the Christ consciousness and the Christ within. Often Reverend Paul Hasselbeck said that in his expression of, when I said that we use soul and spirit somewhat interchangeably, you are spirit, you are beingness itself. Spirit is invisible and eternal, and spirit is what you really are. We know that as the Christ within. And we are not talking about, I like to say this, a little Jesus within you, like a little, what's those cakes? The cakes that have the little baby in there? King cake. No, that's not what we're talking about. A little Jesus in you. It really doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. Okay, it's the pants. I should never wear these again. Okay, sorry. Jesus is the person who demonstrated the fullness of that consciousness, recognizing his divinity, his oneness with God, and expressed that fully. But also it said, you too have this oneness. You too can express this fully, and showed us in many ways how to do that, how to follow him in doing that. And so it's the Christ, the consciousness that we're talking about, that we all have inherently within us and access to. We have to develop it, we have to know it, we have to trust it above all, as he did. But that is what is meant by when we talk about the Christ within, or Christ consciousness. Oh my gosh, it's warm. Wonder where page 2 is. Okay, well, it had some really good stuff on it. And that's fine. I think in light of what is happening here, I'm going to move on back to here it is, get ready. There we go. Page 2 is obviously at the back. So I just want to read this definition from co-founder Charles Fillmore, who says that Christ is the divine idea behind all of creation. Jesus Christ is the form, the name that is commonly applied to the man of Galilee, who demonstrated this perfection and instructed us of our capacity to do the same. So the Christ is one complete idea of the perfect man or woman in the divine mind. So it is at the core of every one of us as our truth. And it doesn't matter what you call it, that's what we teach here, that true self, the divine nature, the divine light of you that is never changing. And you don't have to do anything to earn it, and nothing that you do can take it away. It is always there. And it is always rooted in truth. So the soul or the spirit is the divine center in each of us, and it is always rooted in truth. It does not become involved in the effects, but stands as the creative cause of absolute good for us and for all of creation. So that's what we can know we are working with when we have the courage to look into the dark places within us, or to really let them have their way with us, what is being revealed to and through us. And so the goal, this was my bottom line to clarify from last week, the goal of our teaching and what we do here is to help us all know that true nature, our soul, our spirit, the Christ within, which is always grounded in truth and wholeness, and claim that. Know it to be truer than any passing circumstance, so that you can see those experiences through the lens that they are there to serve a higher purpose, not just to torture you or make you feel like a failure. So in truth, all of our life experiences are meant for our continued growth and unfoldment, and we do begin to experience them differently when we take that into consideration. What is trying to move through me? What is trying to be revealed to me? And we can ask that globally. What is trying to move through us, this human race? What needs to be released, as the Phoenix demonstrates for us? What old beliefs and systems need to be released and renewed? And I think it's freeing to recognize that, right? Instead of, nothing needs to change. Well, if we're evolving in our own self, in our own lives, we will change. And people around us will change, and we know the ultimate thing is that the people that we know and love, including ourselves, will no longer live. And so how can we know that even that we can still live fully, that truth of us, that light within us continues to shine and continues to lead us and guide us into knowing our true self, just like that Phoenix, to know, can we be on the quest for that, right? Can we hold that to be, what is the truth about me, regardless of what I do for a living, regardless of who I married or didn't, regardless of all the people in my life that are screwing up. It's always them, I know, right? Like, what is the truth of me? Let that be my guiding focus. And I know it's not always easy. There's a lot happening. So hang on a minute, I need to find out what the truth of me is. I know there's a lot going on right now. I get it, but we make that conscious decision every time we connect and every time we notice what's happening within us and take heed of that. And so as Elizabeth Lesser goes on to say, we are called, the soul basically calls us to go beneath the surface of our troubled mind. Let me say it, she writes it in the you form, but I'm with you on this. Go beneath the surface of your troubled mind, your bad moods, and your repetitive mistakes. Go beneath the surface questions to even deeper questions, like what is the weight that holds you back? What inside of you is saying no? And are you willing to look at yourself, to take responsibility for your own life? Are you willing to let something die in order for something new to arise? And what must die? And what wants to live? The soul tells you to root around in the dark stuff for the deeper questions, and to let those questions lead you from the darkness to the light. And so that brings us back to the Phoenix of what needs to die. You know, and that seems so abrupt, right? But it's just a letting go. It's just a making room. And we, in Unity, actually have some tools for that. Hello? There we go, okay. So we talk about our 12 spiritual powers or capacities, faculties really. And one of them that always kind of gets a bad rap is elimination. It's like, well, that's weird. Do you mean like, well, the physical process of elimination is an example of it. but our ability to release what no longer serves us, to release limiting thoughts and beliefs. And it all comes down to thoughts. It's crazy. Have you all seen that? I just watched half of it. It's called Healing, I think, on Netflix. It's really good. It's got all the top, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, The Biology of Belief, that author. I can't name them all. But they do a great job of showing us the impact of our thoughts on our experience. Not always the cause, which again can be a misuse of it. We don't necessarily think our way into, sometimes we can see that we did, but oftentimes the misuse of that is to insinuate that someone thought their way into a terminal diagnosis or thought their way into a disaster, right? That's not what we're saying. But how we respond to it, what we think about it, does affect our experience. And so beliefs are just habitual thought patterns. And the issue is that many of them, this is a great quote from Linda Martella Whitsitt, who says, don't do it, Morris. I'm so sorry. I need a better note taker. I really do. The bottom line is those thoughts and beliefs get in there without us really even knowing. OMG. I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Okay. You got to move on. You just have to. But basically, here we go. Much of what we believe, we have unintentionally acquired, unknowingly held, and unconsciously enacted. This is especially true of limiting or negative beliefs because they are backed by strong emotion. So we determine our experience moment by moment, choice by choice. And we decide based on that what is even possible for us or for our relationship, for our world, or what is not possible. And mostly we do this unconsciously through well-developed habits of thought that over time solidify into beliefs. Unconscious though they may be, beliefs about what is possible and what is not limit our expectations, leading to an impaired vision of ourselves and of our world. And so as we release limiting thoughts and beliefs using our ability of elimination or release, we then are able to claim another one of our spiritual powers, or faculties, of life. And life is our ability to enliven and vitalize. Ideally, if we use it spiritually, we are enlivening and vitalizing the belief and realization of our divine nature. But oftentimes you can think about, what do you use your power of life to enliven, to animate? If we're using them all the time, we're just not always conscious of them. We're not always consciously using these abilities. So are we using that purposefully and animating and vitalizing the belief that we are, in fact, expressions of the divine? And as we do that, you see how they work together. Then things and beliefs that come up that stand in the way of that, that limit that, we release them. Now, this is often, we talk often about the use of affirmations and denials. If you've been here long enough, you think, oh, not that again, come on. We know that's got to be something more than that. But it works. But it takes some time. It's taken time for those ruts to develop in our brain, those habits, those habitual thoughts that become beliefs that then are expressed in our habits. And so it will take a little time to create some new thoughts that are held habitually that become beliefs that then are expressed in our habits, yes? And so we can consciously, instead of, as that quote that I couldn't find says, that much of what we believe we have unintentionally acquired, unknowingly held, and unconsciously enacted, we can actually consciously enact what we are saying to be true about us. And so, just to be clear, denials and affirmations denial is not referring to the psychological coping mechanism of denying an experience because it's too painful to deal with. That's another kind of form of spiritual bypass. Again, Linda Martella-Whitsett defines it this way: denial in psychology is a refusal to face facts and avoidance of feelings. And psychological denial leads to self-delusion as well as unconscious action and inaction. But in the practice of spiritual denial, we are not denying facts or feelings. We're not denying that something's happened or that we feel bad or sad or angry about it. We do not deny pain, whether it's physical or emotional, and we do not try to convince ourselves that this is not happening. But we realize that feelings arise as indicators of belief. And so we can begin to also, within our feelings, recognize some of the beliefs that are running behind those. And so if we don't deny facts or feelings, then what are we denying? We deny the thoughts and beliefs that are counter to the spiritual truth that we're knowing, that truth of us. Anything that would limit it or deny it. And we deny belief in the permanence of facts and feelings. Feelings change, don't they? Doesn't mean they're not important. We should really ride them out because they won't be there forever. And facts change. We know that. Oh my goodness, okay. Even before the media went awry, the facts of life change for us based on our own viewpoint and our own development. So we deny misguided beliefs about our divine nature and our divine identity. A really clear way of saying it that's real succinct is that denials erase, dissolve, and release. And this is all in consciousness. And affirmation, claim, plant, and build. And so we take note of the nature of our thinking that is going against the divine truth of us, that we are trying always to express more of. And we claim and build up and plant expressions of truth in our consciousness. And so as we release those limiting thoughts and beliefs using our ability and our faculty of release and claiming the power of life, our ability to enliven and vitalize the thought of our true nature, then we continue to counteract the other limiting beliefs, one thought at a time. They reveal themselves. And so Linda Martella-Whitsett, in her Divine Audacity, has this wonderful little affirmation that I think you can feel the sense of the power of claiming life. I am divine life, ever renewing. I am divine life, ever expressing. I give life to divine ideas. All that I give life to lives. And where does it live to begin? Yeah. So we really do have, it goes back to beliefs that stimulate feelings. And so when we have feelings stimulated, we can spend some time uncovering the beliefs behind them. They're not always bad, right? But we definitely get stopped up by our limiting beliefs, and those are the ones we want to work with. So she lists some things, and maybe I don't know if I should go through them because you can't really write them down, but things that you can do at the end of the day. You can kind of look at your day and consider what you might be willing to release. Consider as your day, particularly maybe a difficult day. Maybe not. It just depends. It just depends on what you're up for. But, could you look back at your day and recognize some resistance or some attitude or untrue belief, maybe unworthiness or perfectionism or resistance that you could notice that maybe I could release that, right? That's not going to be done, but just doing that gives you enough wiggle room to notice that you have a choice there. You can begin to work with that. Commit yourself to that practice of release at least once a week, and begin to recognize long-standing beliefs that seem to limit you or cause a negative stream of thought. And begin to examine the beliefs that are at the root of that. When was the first earliest memory you have of hearing or internalizing that belief? Start to untangle it. Name some unwanted effects of this belief. What would your life be like if that belief didn't continue to pop up for you? And of course, there's always the physically cleaning out your garage and your closets and, donating some money, like release some stuff, move some energy. And ways of practicing our capacity for life. You can think about, describe the evidence that you have found to support the truth that life is eternal, irrepressible, ever-renewing, indestructible. Spend some time thinking about what evidence have you found to support that. Write about hopes and dreams of your past that you did bring to life. What did you think, say, and do to give life to them? And you can apply that to what is maybe moving through you now. What hopes and dreams or resolutions are you working with? And what could you be thinking about and saying about and doing about to bring life to them? And just overall, in what ways would you like to renew your life? What would you like to give life to in your life experience? And so I'll offer you a time of meditation, and I'm actually going to say that I'm going to open the meditation, I'm not quite ready yet, but with the guiding prayer from World Day of Prayer that does affirm and claim that all is well with our soul, no matter the circumstance. But I will end with this quote from Elizabeth Lesser that says, "Our true quest is for our true self. Knowing that a new way could be found only with the death of our worn-out habits, defenses, and beliefs, we can rise from the ashes as a new being, a fusion of who we had been before and who we have become. We too can reproduce ourselves from the shattered pieces of a difficult time. Our lives ask us to die and be reborn every time we confront change. When there is nothing left to lose, we find the true self. The self that is whole, the self that is enough, the self that no longer looks to others for definition or completion, or anything but companionship along the journey." And so I, again, look at this individually and look at this collectively. I think that it has power to look at it from this framework into our world. And you don't need to do it. Yeah, sorry. So let's take this into a time of meditation. I know I've been talking to you and messing with my notes and doing all the things I shouldn't do. So just take a deep breath. And let yourself be guided into whatever part of perhaps what I've been saying about releasing or about the power of enlivening. Asking yourself what perhaps is worn out in your belief system that you are willing to work on releasing, that is limiting you, that is limiting your experience. And just trust whatever emerges. And as we consciously come into awareness of that, we recognize that we can be the gatekeeper, so to speak, of what we let plant and set up shop in our consciousness. What thoughts we are willing to hold and entertain. Are they life-affirming thoughts? Do they support the expression of your true nature, or do they limit it? And just open up to knowing that what we're looking for, what expands us the most, are those that are life-affirming, that are freeing and unlimiting. And so as we move into releasing what no longer serves us and move into claiming the fullness of that life that is seeking to live through us, we can trust that we will be guided, that we will be supported. And that, in fact, anything we are ready to release has served its purpose. We can bless it, be done with it. We don't need to spend time in judging or shaming or blaming. Just release. And then know and claim, as I led us through earlier, this affirmation that I am divine life, ever renewing, ever expressing. That each one of us gives life to divine ideas, and that all that I give life to lives. All that you give life to lives, first in your mind. And so we powerfully claim what we want to live in our minds and thus in our life experience. And so, as promised, this is the guiding prayer from World Day of Prayer. So just invite you to take this in. In this holy moment, I pause to breathe and open. I open my mind to know the nature of God as my divine nature. I open my heart to experience the silent yet certain reality of infinite life, love, and creativity. No matter what is happening at any moment in the world around me or within my experience, I am not subject to its effects. In fact, I am not my circumstances or my experiences. I am wholly divine, and all is well with my soul. I sink into the still waters, the state of perfect peace, where nothing can interrupt or displace the flow of life, love, and creativity. And in this state of awareness, I rest. I renew. I blossom. And I thrive. With joyful appreciation, I celebrate my ever-expanding capacity to know that all is well with my soul. and so it is. So we bring our awareness back to this time and space, to this place. And we move into a time in our service where we give of our good to support this ministry, to support Unity of Denver. I know that many of you do that electronically, which you can do on our website. For those of you in-house today, there are baskets in the back. If you have checks or cash, feel free to drop them in the back. And of course, you can always mail them. That still works too. So thank you for your continued financial support. It is appreciated. And together we can bless our offering. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful. Now it's my favorite song you guys sing.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's my mom's favorite song.
Well, she's smart.
It seems to me that there's a shadow on the sun, but I keep on saying that sunny days will come again. They will come again. It seems to be a tragic contradiction in the world of right and wrong and who belongs and the meaning in the name of God. It seems to me that we are swimming in the dark, and someone started the rumor of a shark somewhere. There's a shark somewhere. So here we are clinging to the pillar of a pier. The rumor is the killer, there's no sharks here. It's just fear. It's just fear. And hey, what can I say? I just wanna love you. I just wanna love you. It's all I can do. And hey, don't run away. I just wanna love you. I just wanna love you. Love you like I seem to recall that somebody said we must not be afraid. There's nothing to fear but the thing itself. Fear not, fear not, fear not. And hey, what can I say? I just wanna love you. I just wanna love you. It's all I can do.
and that sunny days will come again. They will come again. Thank you.
There's no shark in here.
No sharks.
Bettman and Halpin they do have some CDs at the back. They'll be out after the service. If you like what you hear, take advantage of them. I did buy that CD. I have that song I sing sometimes. So thank you for being here today. Also, just so you know, for those of you who are like, where is Martha? I know it's very rare that Martha's not here. Martha has taken a vacation. So I don't think she actually went anywhere because she was gonna, and then it was like, oh, forget it, it's too complicated with everything. But she will be back next week, and we're delighted that you could be with us today and run the musical show. So, and thank you all for being here. I'll invite you to stand up as we close out with the prayer for protection, and then let there be love on earth. So let's claim this together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. Let there be love on earth.